Here we are as people are filing out behind us, getting ready for day 3, rounds 4 through 7. Daniel, I throw to you your thoughts on night number 2 now that is in the books.
A lot of movement. I mean, you saw teams kind of know what they wanted to shop for, and they moved around the board to make sure they could go get it. I love what the New England Patriots have done. I thought it was going to be a fascinating storyline to see the quarterbacks picked last year, what their teams would do this year to help these young guys. And, man, I'll tell you what, Elliott Wolf, hats off to you with the New England Patriots, Mike Vrabel and company. They've done a lot to help Drake May. It's been a good weekend and specifically a great night tonight for Drake May and the New England Patriots.
Two things come to mind for me. Number one, whatever you think your evaluation is of a player, don't take that as the gospel, because the league's going to tell you differently. Each one of these 32 teams has a different way of looking at a player, whether it's scheme fit, whether they want traits, whether they want production, size, you name it. So every time you think you know something, they may tell you differently if it doesn't fit their team. That's the first thing. The second thing is the aggressiveness of these teams right now. Joel, the trades and the people that we're working with, these are things we never thought we would see within division. You're never supposed to. No one cares anymore. How do I get the best value for my team? How do I get someone that fits? And people are willing to do it all across the board. And obviously, we didn't have a quarterback go, but we had a number of quarterbacks go ahead of him. Talk about Shadora Sanders. I'm not trying to get you there, but that has been a big part of the story tonight.
Yeah, I think, you know, what's interesting, you talk about when we evaluate outside of these rooms, these organizations, we just evaluate players. And we watch tape and we evaluate their play on the football field. But a big part of the evaluation for these NFL organizations is the player and the person. And tonight for Shadora Sanders, this is a time for some deep self-reflection, because his play on the field would suggest that he should already have been selected. I think we would all agree with that theory, in particular in this quarterback class. There were some quarterbacks their play on the field, you know, probably doesn't warrant the selection over his play on the field. Now, having said that, was his play perfect? No, it wasn't. There's some things that he needs to clean up. There's no doubt about it. The reason he is undrafted at this point is because of the person that sat with those teams and did not, for whatever reason, gel with them. And that's the self-reflection, because this process is all about selling yourself and trying to put yourself in the best possible position to go as high as you possibly can. And, you know, Shedeur tweets out, "Thank you, God, for everything." And again, I'll just go back to this, Rich. I think it is a night for deep self-reflection for Shadora Sanders about what he was bringing to the table.
I just see a league, though, that goes ahead and takes people with red flags like it's an amusement park about things that you wouldn't want to touch somebody with a 10-foot pole, but we'll take that person because they're really talented.
Well,
and in this case, what?
Let me push back on that.
Because he interviewed badly, because
let me push back.
He didn't. Okay, go for it.
I would just say quarterback is different because of what Ian talked about earlier in the night, in terms of once you get past the point where you're drafting for a starter and you're drafting for a backup, now that red flag or issue becomes a story and a narrative. And now the camera and the microphone is in the backup quarterback's locker. No organization in football wants the microphone and camera in the backup quarterback's locker.
But that's also maybe part and parcel of a head coach not being able to control the narrative. I mean, Bill Belichick would put velvet ropes around any cameras, anything, and then that would be completely removed. If the Pittsburgh Steelers chose Shadora Sanders, what do you think? Mike Tomlin's suddenly going to have the narrative consume his locker room? No, there's somebody like Cam Hayward in there and TJ Watt in there and a whole bunch of veterans that can absolutely handle this sort of thing. So I don't kind of buy that. The one thing that I do want to push back on as well, or at least get your thoughts on, is the narrative that I'm seeing everywhere, that there are league folks who are trying to teach the Sanders family a lesson. I'm sure.
I know where you're coming from.
Go for it.
No, I absolutely know.
Because that is a narrative that's being talked about.
I absolutely know
right
where
now.
you're coming from, because the thought that entered my mind tonight is, if I'm Shadora Sanders sitting wherever you are right now, and this has not happened, you can't help but start to think it's personal. Like this people have decided collectively to come get me. And I can speak about that from experience. I've encountered a few things in my life where I started to think, oh, this is absolutely personal. You've come for me. It is a hard battle to fight your way through, especially when you are sitting there hurting and you know you're supposed to be picked by your talent and you haven't. So I wish you luck with that one, young man, because you're going to feel it. I'm not sure that's entirely true, but it's going to be hard for you to dispel that narrative until, as Joel said, you get that chance, get to the starting line and start to run your race again. I hope he gets that opportunity starting tomorrow.
It's hard for us to sit here on the desk without all of the information.
Without all the facts.
We haven't been in the rooms. We haven't met with them. You're hearing things second and third hand. There's not that many teams that really met with him and went deep into the process because there are only so many teams that were in the quarterback market. My free advice to take it or leave it. My free advice is someone who's scouted the NFL and has been in these rooms. If I was advising Shedeur, I wouldn't do it on social media. I would pick up a phone. I would get the numbers of some of the general managers of teams that you met with, and I would call them and say, please understand, I'm coming. There's no cameras coming with me. Social media is not going to be a big part of it. Anything you might ever be concerned about. I am a football player. I love this game. I put time into it. It's incredibly important to me. I just beg of you to give me the opportunity. I'm not going to come in there. I'm not going to come in there and ruffle any feathers. I'm going to come in there and work, and I'm going to earn my job, whether that's as the number 3 quarterback, the number 2 quarterback, and I'm eventually, hopefully, going to earn your trust and get an opportunity to play on the field. But this doesn't need to play out on social media. It doesn't need to play out in interviews. To me, I would be reaching out directly to those teams if that was someone I was giving advice.
I like where you're going with that. The one thing that just keeps coming back to me, though, is this is a league built on all of that now. Hard knock shows, hard knocks in season, cameras following around. Each team has its own department where the camera's following everyone around and tweeting stuff out and getting this bite out and the whole thing. So if everybody's saying it's because he's bringing his own crew in, I'm struggling with that one because every team is doing that now. This is a whole part of advertising it. I'd really love to know everything about it. I think all of us up here agree. We're not in those rooms. We don't know what these teams are thinking, so we're looking at it from the outside. By talent, this kid should have been long gone. Someone should have grabbed him and we do it. What exactly is it? Remains to be seen, remains to be found out by us on the outside. I don't know what the Sanders family knows or is hearing. I don't know what people are telling them or not telling them. I just know that if I'm that young man right now, Joel, it's almost impossible to feel that it's not personal.
Here's my thing, though, Joel. The league has sent a message. Now, they might not like the message, but the league has sent a message. Now it's his opportunity to send his message. That's my opinion on it.
But that message, to your point, and I'm gonna double down on what you said. Yeah. It can't be public.
No.
It cannot be public. This has to be quiet, and it has to be humble.
Well, if you've noticed, the cameras were not on in the house tonight.
I think that was wise.
Okay, and again, just listen.
I wouldn't invite cameras in on my pain.
Deion's a detriment when it's his own son, but when it's Travis Hunter, the kid just
no problem.
He's second overall because it's his talent. He wasn't coached up in a significant enough way, right? I mean, so Deion doesn't get the credit for Travis Hunter being second overall.
Oh, I think we all sat up here and gave Deion a lot of credit for that. But when it's his own
son, oh my goodness, he's got this reality show, he's got that reality show. Deion's going to start talking about my business in front of cameras, and all of a sudden my locker room's going to be a mess. Unless you have a better grasp on your own locker room and your own organization and you run it the way you want. And if there's anybody that would know about your organization is run by you the way you want, it's Deion Sanders, who's clearly running the Colorado program the way he wants. And the number of people who criticize everything about him retiring his son's own number and all of that stuff, he pays that no mind. He runs the organization the way that he runs it. So why can't that be done in the NFL? It just doesn't compute to me.
Rich, there's so much about what you're saying. Go back to when Deion came out. He was so far ahead of his time, and all we heard was people were afraid of, oh, am I getting this? Am I getting that? He still went, 6th overall and became one of the all-time great players. This is why I am wondering, when are we going to get the rest of the story? Because there's so much out there we absolutely can't know because they can't be that afraid. This league never turns down talent.
It's TOE, right? Talent over everything. It's been that way for ages. It's never going to change. So some of this, a portion of this, is an indictment on what they believe the talent is.
But I will just go back to this. As a perceived backup, which now he is, let's face it, right?
This level of draft.
Day 3. This is day 3. As a perceived backup, this league has told guys time and time again, whether you want to talk about Tim Tebow, Colin Kaepernick, there's a laundry list of guys that would bring a distraction as a backup. And that's the one thing that's not TOE. It's not. And so that's the humbling part about all this. And I get what your point is. I'm just saying that the quarterback position is different.
So let me ask you this question. Now that we've reached the part of the draft where they're choosing backups, as you say, and there may be a sense in the NFL saying, I'm not going to take a young man who thinks himself as a starter as a backup, thus to create problems at a backup position that we would never countenance otherwise. Does this kid not get picked tomorrow? Does he go through tomorrow somehow?
No, because of what Daniel said. If there is some of that deep reflection like I talked about, if there's a couple of calls made, and if there's like another almost selling yourself in terms of like, hey, I'm about football. I'm going to come here and work.
Clearly.
He can play football.
Watch the tape.
That's what I'm saying. He can play football.
DJ, normally at this point of a draft, we're looking at your top 100, and you're like got a 99% hit rate.
My next highest guy is 61, and he's 20. So the guy can play. That's why, issue. Again, we're trying our best to explain something that we don't pass a test, and we don't have the answers to the test.
Very true.
Okay, then real brief, let's give the other kids some due. Who else got picked tonight that you really are excited for the match, the fit? Go for it.
Well,
Daniel.
To me, I just thought Denver. Harvey ended up going to Denver, right? And we talked about them getting that kind of mismatch player, RJ Harvey out of UCF. So, again, I feel like this thing went so fast tonight. The picks were coming so fast and furious. I'm excited to get home and see who the heck went where after this is all said and done.
Listen, Denver really came in a year ahead of schedule last year.
Yep.
What they did.
Yes.
But they are not looking at themselves like, oh, wow, what a magical season. They're looking at themselves like, keep pressing the gas and let's go.
Yeah.
And they've got an opportunity in their division because I don't care how you view it otherwise. That Super Bowl against the Philadelphia Eagles for Kansas City, that has opened it wide for everyone who is chasing them now, right? That veneer of invincibility, gone. Denver thought they had them twice last year, right? The blocked field goal pounded them into the season ender. Las Vegas, they think they're better already coming with Pete Carroll and crew. And obviously the Los Angeles Chargers, they always walk away going, how did we just lose to them? We had them on the ropes and we didn't win. Everyone thinks they can go get Kansas City now, and Denver's a big part of that.
I'm thinking of three winners, two young quarterbacks that were already in the league. Drake May got a lot of help in New England, and Caleb Williams got some help as well in this draft. Luther Burden going all the way, remember, a few hours ago, guys, to the Bears at pick number 39. So those two guys, I think, had a good night for their futures. And then it's hard for me not to sit here and think a bit about this from the college perspective. Ohio State was 7 players in the first 45. That was 15% of the draft at that point. I mean, that's going to be on every marketing material for Ryan Day. Come to Columbus and you're going to go to the NFL.
We've been going to be. It's already out.
By the way, Rich, I haven't checked my phone in hours, so I just checked my phone. My dad, what's the story with Sanders? I mean, that's everybody at home is asking the same question.
That is 100% the conversation of this draft to this point.
And I don't think we don't have the answer.
Through 102 picks, and we will see about tomorrow. Great job, Joel Klatt.
Hey,
you're awesome. You're
good to be here.
Yeah,
as always. Good to have you.
Not
to mention, I found out that a takedown is worth 3 points now in wrestling, not 2. Yeah, somebody hit me up. Told me I got to get with the times. So.
Joel Klatt.
Thanks, guys.
Joel Klatt is not with us tomorrow. We're replacing you with puppies. Take that for how you wish.
Tell him, Joel, it takes a lot of puppies.
Hey, spoiler alert, I saw the puppies.
Sure my wife would replace me with
one. Looks like Jackson Dart. I'm just going to tell you that.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, it does. Really? Hang out. Come back tomorrow.
I had no idea. Okay. Tune in tomorrow, everybody. It'll be a bright, sunshiny day here. But for night 2, we wrap it up and send things back to Los Angeles.